we were on this trip, we had the opportunity to do a lot of college campus ministry. The first college we went to, I talked to a lot of people, but I was still a little insecure, still a little shy on talking to them, and got a little better throughout the colleges. So we got to one college up in Pennsylvania, and Montgomery Community College, and this one guy came up to me, Terrence. He came by the table that we had set up, and I said, hey, do you want to take this little God test survey that we have going on? He said, no, I got to run. I got to go to class. And he said, I'll catch up with you later, though. I'll come do the test later. And I said, oh, of course, everybody says that. They'll come back later, but they never really do. He came back a little later and said, I got to do some photography stuff for class. I'll come back later, though. And didn't think he was. We were packing up to leave that day, and he came sprinting over to me to do the test. I was like, oh, you actually came back? And he said, all right, let's do the test quick. I only had about 10 minutes to talk to him or less. And I asked the first question on the test is, do you believe in God? And I couldn't even carry on with the test after that because he said, I don't know if I believe in God. I think I do. I know that there's a God, but I don't know if I believe in him. And it was really complicated because I can't move on if he doesn't have an answer for that first one. So I just asked him, I said, all right, well, what do you believe? And he went on to tell me this crazy testimony. And he said, he's a surfer. So he talked really funny, and he's like, yeah, man, well, I was on an acid trip at a metal concert one time. And in this middle of this metal concert, he started tripping on acid. And he said he looked over to one of his friends, and in the trip, his friend was Jesus. And he looked over to his other friend, and this other friend was Satan. And he said when he looked over to Jesus, all he heard was, come home, come back, come home, come back. And he'd look over to his friend who was Satan, and his friend would be offering him drugs and be telling him, I want you, come back to me. And then he looked over to Jesus one more time, and Jesus said, I love you. And at that instant, the metal concert is here, and there's this big hill behind the stage. He said he turned around, walked up to that top of hill, and started worshiping God. And he had no clue what he was doing because, well, one, he was on an acid trip, but two, he had never worshiped any God before. He had never worshiped God. He had no clue who God was. And he said while he was worshiping God on top of this hill, he looked up to this guy and saw God and said, and God said, I have a plan for your life, Terrence. Come back to me. Come home. I love you. And at that instant, his friend in the trip, who was Satan, grabbed him, and the trip stopped. And he said, and since that day, exact quote, he said, since that day, I still smoke weed, but I haven't touched any drugs since, and I had no repercussions. God healed me of drug use, and I know it was God, but I don't know if I believe in him yet, because I don't know if that was really God or if that was just my mind. And I got to go in and tell him, I said, dude, God works in crazy ways. I got to tell him a story about this kid in my DTS who met God while he was on crystal meth. And I told him God does work in that way. And he got excited and said, okay, well, what do I do? I got to tell him the simple gospel within 3 minutes because I didn't have much time. And through that, he got really pumped up and said, okay, well, that's awesome. Now there is a calling in my life. Now I know that God actually can speak through this. Now what do I do? And I said, man, I got to split. I got to go. But this guy that I had met at the church just the day before, who runs a college campus ministry there, named Jared, he came up and stood right beside me right as I was leaving. And I said, hey, this is Jared. He loves the Lord. He is an awesome guy and an awesome discipler. Talk to him. So I left and turned around, and they were having a great conversation. They were into it, talking together. And Jared texted me just a week later and said, hey man, I just wanted to let you know, Terrence is coming to our youth events now, almost every single week, and he's given his life to God.